Now, Sarah de Lagarde lost her right arm and leg when she was hit by 2 tube trains after slipping on a wet platform. You'll remember Sarah's story. She spoke to us in November last year, telling us about how the accident changed her life forever. Well, now she's calling on the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, to meet her to discuss how to improve safety measures. And she's bringing legal action against Transport for London, who she says hasn't accepted moral or legal responsibility for what happened.
I am calling on Sadiq Khan again to meet me and other victims of the London Transport Network to discuss these issues urgently before anyone else gets hurt or killed in this way. We need there to be an independent and comprehensive review of TFL's safety procedures so that meaningful lessons can be learned.
Well, Sarah is with me in the studio now. Sarah, welcome back. As always, good to see you. It didn't have to come to this, did it? You didn't really want to take legal action. What got you to this point today?
Do you know, I mean, the accident happened over a year and a few months ago. And over that time, I've been trying to engage with TFL. I've been trying to have a conversation about what happened in terms of mapping out the learnings, because acceptance of failures leads to innovation. That's the point. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I have had no response, no engagement, no apology, and now a formal denying of liability, of responsibility, for me, that leaves me no other option than to say, OK, what else can I do? And legal action is what I now have to resort to, not what I wanted to do.
And Sarah, since we last spoke, in fact, since your accident happened, there have been other incidences like yours. Lives lost falling onto a tube track. You mentioned in your speech there, which we didn't show on TV, an incident that happened at Barnet tube station just a few weeks ago. Somebody was hit by a bus at Victoria bus station. Over the weekend, somebody was pushed onto the tube tracks at Oxford Circus. What goes through your mind when you hear stories like that? Because they happen, once you look out for them, with alarming regularity.
Yes, and it feels like that it's underreported at the time, but if you look closely, you can see it. So I was tipped off that there was an incident on the 26th of December at the end of last year where a gentleman fell onto the tracks at Stratford, which is also a terminus station, just like High Barnet. And this man got run over by 4 trains. And because it's an end station, that means 8 times. Of course, that gentleman didn't survive, but that prompted me to, be resolved in this and saying, we need to do something about this.
You're taking this on. I mean, you've got a lot to cope with already. As we said, you lost your arm and your leg in this, and you look great, but you're bearing the scars of that physically and emotionally. We've spoken about that. Again, since we spoke, when I travel on the Tube network, I'm standing at Westminster Station in front of glass barriers, and there are quite a lot of those at the modern tube stations, glass barriers between the passengers on the platform and the tube tracks. You think, why aren't these everywhere? And it's not like TfL haven't got any money. They're expected to make £79 million profit this financial year. When you look at TfL ULEZ fines, in revenue, they took £50 million in revenue last year. So TfL do have money to make safety improvements, but they don't seem to want to allocate it to this, is what your understanding is from your response from them. The answers are out there, right?
Yes, and what I find disappointing is there is emphasis on what I would call PR stunts and saying, oh, for Fashion Week, we'll change Bond Street into Burberry Street. That costs money, and I don't think it's necessary. I read an article about putting cardboard steering wheels on DLR trains because that could be fun for the passengers, but that's not what we care about. We care about trains being on time, carriages being tidy, clean, and being safe.
Being safe on a tube and when you're on the platform. I mean, something so simple. I mean, again, what struck me about your story is when you were saying that the driver of the tube train, one of the tube trains that hit you, couldn't see you because the light on the front of the tube train was so small. Bigger lights on the front of tube trains so they could see what's on the tracks in front of them. Simple measures like that.
And I think it's a different world, whether you work in a startup company or a corporate organisation or public services or government-run entity. I feel that the speed of change or speed of innovation is very long.
Yeah.
All the solutions are out there.
And the London Mayor has refused to meet you so far. Sarah, I know you'll keep asking for a meeting with him because this is too serious to you and so many other families to let go. So thank you, Sarah. We'll speak again. Sarah de Lagarde, always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you.